Hello.
Hey, I didn't realize it was just you. I'm gonna pause the recording because we haven't started yet, and I have to help somebody with a transfer station permit. So I'm just like walking away for 2 seconds.
It's 3:37. So it's 3:37, call to order. And we have Jean Speck here, who is our town first selectman. Joanne Wasty and May Leanna Gant were longstanding members of the committee. And then we have a new member today, Miranda Lovato, and a special guest, Adam Welchel from the Nature Conservancy. So I guess, Miranda, if you could just tell us, like in a nutshell, just like a little who am I kind of introduction, just so we can meet you. And
Yeah, so my name's Miranda. I did a brief stint as the interim Park and Rec director for Kent. I am a landscape architect. I do mostly parks and recreation work, park planning, playground redevelopment, things like that. I live here in Kent with my family. We've got 2 young kids. That's the nutshell.
After the meeting, if you could just send an email to the group with your contact information, that would be fantastic. That would be great. And Adam is here because, as you know, we're Sustainable Connecticut, and we're trying to do a program with the Nature Conservancy. And Adam is here to help us complete our paperwork so that we can make that happen. So I'm going to let Jean and Adam take it away. And Jean, I just printed out your thing, so I'm going to get up for a second, run and get it. Sorry.
Sure. Hi, Adam. It's nice to meet you.
Yeah, likewise, Jan. It's really nice to meet you. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, no, I feel
I look a little disheveled. I was outside earlier, and I was outside for an hour and didn't realize how freezing cold it was. And that was 3 hours ago, actually. And I'm still quite cold. I feel very, yeah.
How's your river? Is it frozen over? Any
No.
ice jams? No, okay.
No,
Cool.
knock on wood.
Yeah, it's been my son just let me know that next Thursday it's going to be like 60 degrees or something crazy like that.
I was
Double
wow.
He could have been pulling my leg, but
I heard there was going to be a warm up.
yeah,
Okay.
no, we're really pleased and privileged to be working with Kent. Again, this is a partnership between the Nature Conservancy and Sustainable Connecticut. We're actually coming in to provide you all with a community resilience building workshop that will get you points towards your goals with Sustainable Connecticut, and also provide you with a process through which you can get a little bit sharper, a little bit hopefully clearer on priority actions related to resilience, sustainability, all those good things. So I think we've Joanne, we spent some time together kind of going through our kickoff call, kind of going over the nuts and bolts, the objectives, the goals of the community resilience building process, or simply stated CRB. I'll just use CRB. You're in really good company. We've had the privilege of working with about 450 municipalities in your neck of the woods. We're working with Washington. To the north, we're working with Canaan, aka Falls Village, which I didn't even realize until recently. I grew up in Colebrook, by the way. So, but I had no idea that North Canaan officially is what we call Canaan informally, and officially what we call Canaan in the state of Connecticut is actually Falls Village.
Falls Village.
Anyway, so we're also working with Winsted. So we've got like a nice little group in this cohort in the northwest corner. But during our kickoff call, we talked about a few pre-workshop. There's 3 basic phases. There's pre-workshop, workshop, and then post-workshop. We'll bring a facilitation team to handle the actual workshop itself. We may ask Jean, you as a first select person, to say a few words, tone and tenor. I've got some talking points and things like that. We can get into that, as we get closer. We will generate a report, what we call a summary of findings report, and we'll take care of that. We'll return that to you in final draft form for your review and modification. And there's some really good examples. We actually worked with Litchfield as well last winter. But really, your work as the core team is in the pre-workshop phase. And there were two pieces of work. One was the community characterization survey that I had a chance to scan quickly, Gene. It looks good. And then the second was the workshop participant worksheet, where a Word doc where you will actually write in or type in who you want to have at your workshop. So those are the two big items in advance. And once you get a good handle on that, the community characterization survey looks like it's in pretty good shape. I have a few suggestions we can touch on. I'd love to get an update on where you're at with the participant worksheet. More to the, I'd love to have a quick look at that just to see what you're thinking. I might have some suggestions about other folks you might want to invite. I know it's a very small community, very analogous to Colebrook, in fact. But also how many people you invite will influence the size of the facilitation team that I need to bring to your workshop. And I got to let people know well in advance because we're all volunteering our time here. So we're not, the Sustainable Connecticut TNC folks are not, they're going to be facilitator, not getting paid. They're doing this pro bono. So, so those are the two big things.
Do you have an optimal size for these groups that you find works well, like a critical mass, and what's too big, what's too small?
Yeah, it is a workshop. We do a large group, small group, large group kind of thing during the workshop. So small groups are typically between 6 to 8. So I think, in a municipality the size of Kent, you're probably going to be, in the 12 to 14 range. If you're only in the 10 range, that's fine. We'll go forward with it. If you're down in like the 6 to 8 range, we can do it, but it'll feel a little bit shallow. It'll feel more like a meeting than a workshop. And the risk is that it's the same people having the same conversations with each other that we've had a million times before. So we're looking for 12 to 14. We talked.
Not including us.
Sorry?
Including us, the
Yeah.
sustainability.
Yep.
That includes us.
That would be a total.
Okay.
And I think we talked briefly about, maybe it would be great to include somebody from your COG. If there are any regional services like a visiting nurse association, or, if you have more regional services or multi-town kind of collaboratives on services, that kind of stuff, it's always good to invite folks to the table because they invariably have some important perspectives. But Gene, also these workshops tend to be an opportunity to educate, inform, and create allies with people that can help you with funding or expertise down the road. So you can be a bit strategic with that as well.
Okay, great.
But 12 to 14 would be a great number. I think Washington's going to come in around 12 to 14.
So around 8 or 9 people in addition to our group.
Right. Yep. Yeah. And, it can go a lot higher if you, but 12 to 14 would be a great number. We can really work with that well.
Leanna, did you have a chance to make a list at all of participants? Or no?
I didn't, but my problem is I wouldn't know where to begin with a list like
I
that.
started I kind of a skeleton of a list, but we could start with that and then just add or subtract.
Because I thought Jean would probably know who the people.
All right, well, we can just go forward. I was just curious because we can just use what I have then and add to it.
Yeah, and I don't have the agenda up, so I don't know where we are in the agenda. If that's where,
okay,
because we can flesh that out a little bit here.
Right.
you want to, if you guys.
Well, do you want to do that now, or you want to go over, because Adam has some suggestions for the other document, the survey. So do you want to do the survey first, Adam?
Sure. Yeah. I mean, that sounds fine. I have to leave at 4:15, unfortunately.
Okay, we can do
Okay.
it quickly.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and I have it open, so I'll make changes as we're, on the fly as we're going.
Yeah, the only suggestion that I would, so there were a couple, and this, I guess my general comment is that it would probably be a good idea to run this by whomever is on point for your emergency management services.
Yeah.
For example, I'm looking at, some of the questions like, I don't want to go in order here. Like number 9, have you identified
Yeah.
asset? I mean, that's
I
all going
was-
to be in the hazard mitigation plans or
Yeah, and I was going over that, and I was just like, I'm
is
not
it
sure.
too much?
Yeah, it's
Okay.
just
Yeah.
a lot, but I can run it through them.
Yeah, it might just help to kind of get some eyes on it, provide us with some insights. What the purpose of this document is really to help us as the facilitation team be pretty up to speed on who you are. So when we come in, we're not like, being the dumb ones that are covering the same ground that is common knowledge. So it helps us, and also we use this information to inform that summary of findings report that we do. We'll definitely be leaning into and getting everything we can out of that hazard mitigation plan. And I think Washington sent us a copy of the regional one that's been prepared recently, and so we'll look into the chapter for Kent. But yeah, I mean, these all sound really, and like question number 17 and 18, that's going to come right out of your hazard mitigation plan. So I think generally speaking, this document's in pretty good shape. I would just encourage you to run it by whoever your emergency management professional is.
Do we still have one?
So David resigned, our emergency management director. We still have a deputy, Eric Epstein, and David, in his resignation letter, did agree, or not agree, he offered to, because he knew we were coming into a lot of sort of big projects with we're doing a ton of home kit and mask allocation. He knew that we were heading into this project, so he did offer to do some gap work for us. So he's still there for us.
Call him if you need to.
Yes, absolutely.
Because I mean, are you actively looking for somebody new? You don't know what you're doing yet with that position, or?
Yeah, I don't know what I'm doing yet. I'm just trying to get through the 6,000 masks that are in my office, and the
I know,
storm this weekend.
I've seen in your last newsletter that the guy in charge of emergencies had resigned, and I didn't know what was going on there with that, because I knew this was going to come up, and I thought, well, I have to find out what's going on. And then I had to have surgery. So,
Right. Then you got a little distracted.
oh, very.
Understandably.
Yeah.
So yeah, I can, I'll flow this to them, and I was going to send this to them anyway once we took a look at it today.
Yeah, and you can. I mean, this isn't imperative that we have this. If as far as the community characterization, if we could have that back a few weeks before the actual workshop itself, that would be fine. So you can. You'll have.
This document.
I'm sorry.
It's for you. Is this for the people who are going to run the seminar, the workshop, to work with
Yeah.
us? Okay.
Yes. Yeah. We'll use it to inform ourselves coming in, and then we'll also use it to inform your final report that we prepare for you.
Okay.
So that sounds good. I think, having those folks take a look at it, they'll be like, oh yeah, no problem. And I'll just crank it out. It's, typically it's, they live and breathe it. So,
Yeah.
So that's good. As far as the participant worksheet goes, I'm going to leave that in your hands. It sounds like you're at the beginning phase of putting names in that document. I will suggest on the last page of that document, Gene, we went through during our kickoff call, there's a list of affiliations of folks that have been instrumental, important components, voices of the community, just for some ideas. So you can
This is
take a look.
great. Yeah,
Yep.
this will make it super easy for me to just
Yeah.
populate.
Yeah.
all of those.
I mean,
Yeah,
I can
We've done this a
share,
lot.
I can share what I have so far.
Sure.
If you want, you can let me share the screen. We can just go really
Please.
quickly and see if there's anyone obvious.
Go for it.
You have to give me, oh, there we go. I was like, you have to give me permission, but there we are. All right, so I kind of started out with you, Jean, and then went to COG, but then you're gonna know who, like, more names of people.
Yeah.
And then it was emergency management, parks and rec, planning and zoning, POCD. Also don't know some of the names. Now we have parks and rec. Conservation Commission, Inland Wetlands Commission, and then fire marshal, fire, public works, land trust, Houstonic Valley Association, and then Northwest Connecticut Land Conservancy. And then down here, oh, Kent Chamber of Commerce.
Yep.
And then I just put the private schools. That's all. That's as far as I got with that. I don't know if they're necessary, if not, but the 3 schools.
Well, they're large employers. They're
Right.
they're on on site, residential communities. So I think that makes sense, right, Anna?
And I'm sorry, I was gonna say too, with the Kent School, because, whenever we have a river flood, they're terribly
Yeah.
impacted. So I
Yeah.
think they would be very interested.
Yeah, well, that's what I thought of them because of the flooding. They were so impacted. But then I thought, well, there's other, 2 other schools as well that are, yeah, like Jean says, kind of important to the town. But yeah.
So there's a so Jocelyn Ayer would be on the community planning. She's with I forget the name of it, but give me 2 seconds and I'll find it.
Not at the COG anymore?
No, she went to the Housing Authority.
Well, maybe she can do double duty there.
So she'd be under like community planning.
I think so.
Okay.
So her,
Is it Jocelyn?
yep, Jocelyn Ayer, Ayer, and it's Jocelyn at thehousingcollective.org as far as contact info.
Wait, what is at what?
So
But what's her?
I don't know
Who's-
what the name of the organization. Let me just give me a second to Google this.
Yeah.
Who's helping? Is she the one who's helping with the affordable housing plan?
So
Okay.
she has remained the consultant, but is moving on to this other organization.
Okay.
I don't know. This looks like it's a Fairfield County thing. I just Googled the Housing Collective, but it might be like a statewide, but I can find that out.
Okay.
Just a few other thoughts. I noticed, anything related to public health and safety, any networks that might have been strengthened or originated during the pandemic. I saw the word transportation came up in a lot in your community survey. Is there anything, related to that?
Yeah, we don't
So
have.
there's the Northwest Transit District. Would we want, probably would make sense to have their executive director come to.
Because we don't really have public transportation around here. And I know you were exploring that for train to help the elderly get to medical appointments, because since we lost our doctors here, we don't have any doctors here, Adam.
Yeah. Yeah, and you may not get the executive director, so I mean, it's always good to ask, shoot for the top, but then, ask them for a designee if they can't. So you're sure to getting some voices from. And the other element that might be really important to include is if you have any active farms, any kind of local food production, those kind of things. They really often are really close to the land and can offer some really valuable insight, especially as we kind of are in this business of trying to balance rural agricultural rural characteristics with kind of economic growth. And I know your Main Street, et cetera. So just some ideas in there. It looks like you've got conservation well covered. DPW would be public works. Engineering services, is that pretty much rolled into public works? Or you
Yeah,
consult
we usually contract out.
Yeah,
for that.
that's good. Yeah, that sounds really good. Chamber of Commerce is always always
Yeah.
always
Mhm.
a vet. So
Chamber of Commerce is also the librarian.
So for the transit district, just to populate a name in there,
Mhm.
it's Craig. Yes, he was the first selectman in Warren a while ago. I thought I would find it on the website here.
So Miranda, just by way of a little bit of background. So what we're trying to do is grab a good representation of voices from the community. During the workshop, we'll be going through things like strengths and vulnerabilities and coming up with actions to and prioritizing actions to make Kent a more resilient, more sustainable place. And so through that process, the CRB process, it's really thrives on having, those that you lean on already, those that may not necessarily be involved, but they're going to be part of that bright future that you're all going to create together for Kent. And so trying to capture those voices is really, really key. Just by way of background.
Yeah, so jump in if you have ideas.
Yeah, the only one thing I was thinking is, I don't know, do we have someone from the public school in here, or the Board of Ed? I don't know if that's important, but
Board of Ed might be good. And they're, I believe they're starting a community outreach committee. So, and I'm pretty sure well, I can call Scott Trabucco and ask him who he might want to assign to this.
Adam, I have a question. You brought up farms. There are a number of farms in Kent. I mean, who would we want to invite from that? I mean, I don't see you saying to invite every single farmer, but
I was actually thinking, where the Kent Falls Brewery is, that farm, which is kind of a sustainable farm. I know also who's the guy, he's on planning and zoning. He's involved
Yeah.
with that as well.
David Birnbaum.
David Birnbaum, that, just because I heard like a whole talk with that farm and it was really interesting. It's definitely, they're looking to do like locally sourced beer and sustainable farming and things like that. So they might be a good.
Yeah.
And one other element that's usually really helpful is, representation from the faith-based community.
Mm.
If you have, like a congregational church or something like that with like a food pantry, a pastor or, somebody that looks out for, that's paying attention to how people are doing, that can be a really valuable voice. And they often see things we don't.
So I think Judy Sheridan, who's our interim social services director, would be a great addition to this.
So she would be under
Probably
community
Boards,
planning.
commissions, probably under boards, commissions, formal committees, sort of loosely fits under there because she is a town employee.
Can we add another, insert another cell here?
Careful because you want to do a whole row,
Yeah, no,
a
that's not.
rabbit hole of a table.
I'm just gonna, I haven't really used
If
this
you want to put it
tool.
somewhere else and I can,
And I can move it once I figure out how to
Yeah.
add another cell there.
Yeah.
Let's just do it down here. And what was it again?
Judy share it, so that would be social services. And her name is Judy Sheridan.
Okay, whoops. Okay, yeah, we can move, I can move that around. So she actually works for Kent Social Services? Okay,
Yeah, so she's now the interim director since
Mhm.
Leah left service.
okay.
And then, so that was leading me back around when you said food pantry.
Yeah.
Our food bank is run by social services, but like St. Andrews, the pastor over at St. Andrews, Pastor Worthington, I think his last name is Worthington, yes. He actually reached out to me and wanted to participate in the senior center lunch program that we were starting back up. So he might be a good person to reach out to.
Okay, all right.
Would be interested.
Yeah, they usually, people like the perhaps the pastor here, they usually get a lot out of it, and more importantly, they feel like they walk away feel like they're valued by the community to be invited and be able to participate. It can be a real relationship strengthening, trust building type of thing, which we all need tons of these days. So so play around with that. Looks like you're on a really good path there. Yeah, you may not get always ask for a designee. Sounds like we'll be in fine shape there. Yeah, so work on that. I'd love to take a peek at it when you feel like it's done, or
Okay.
where you feel like you're really good with it. And then once we're there, well, probably tomorrow, what I'll send you is and Jean, yeah, we've done this a lot. So a lot of the stuff has been prepared for you, like this form, and so we're really trying to make it as easy as possible. And so tomorrow what I'll say, yeah, tomorrow what I'll send to you is suggested invitation language, something that the first select person would send out. You just have to we're gonna wait. We're gonna need to wait. We need to pick a date, and usually, it's 5 weeks out from invites going out 4 or 5 weeks, depending on how you feel people are responding these days. But so we do need to pick a date, and I was talking with Jess LeClaire at Sustainable Connecticut. We would love to do this in the beginning of March if we could. This is a 3-hour workshop, and we have morning or afternoon available. The mornings are 9 to 12 and the afternoons are 1 to 4. Usually on a Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday versus a Monday or Friday. But we should definitely be thinking about finding a date pretty quick.
We're gonna do this.
Say that again.
Will this be on Zoom?
Yeah, it's all going to be online. Yeah.
Well, that makes it easier in some ways, because then you don't have to worry about, making people show up enough, because so many people aren't around, or they travel, or their job, they can't leave their phone or whatever.
I'm traveling to Italy March 4th, and I'll be back the 14th.
After.
And I'll be back the 14th.
So, and also we have sort of a big intersection that is, we keep sort of chasing it. So we have the affordable housing plan due to OPM in June. We have a steering committee that's moving forward. And the next piece that we just planned last night for February 23rd is a public forum on the plan and some data that we've been crunching. The ARPA Needs Assessment Committee is wrapping up they have a survey out, as did the housing folks. And that's starting to move into their focus group timing, which I believe is going to be the beginning of March. So there, that I want to make sure we have the balance of people, not being very engaged, but being too engaged.
So maybe mid-March works better? Jean,
So
when
I'm
would
just
you
saying
wanna
that out loud and then sort of putting it back in the laps of everyone here.
what would be your ideal date be?
Mine,
Based on all
whatever
of this,
the 8th weekday is, that doesn't exist. So we have Board of Selectmen meetings the 1st and 3rd Thursdays. So that keeps it sort of safe out of the realm, because you're saying, did you say Tuesday, Wednesday, Adam, or Tuesdays?
Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday.
On
Right.
Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. So probably if we can keep off of a Thursday, that will
Yeah. Tuesday,
check a lot of boxes.
Tuesday would be good, like Tuesday, the 15th.
15th or 16th, potentially.
Yeah, I have issues with in the evening on Wednesdays. I have meetings for work.
So the workshops are, 9 to 12 or 1 to 4.
Yeah,
So
Wednesdays are really busy for me with work. That's
so
all.
why don't we, what are we thinking? What do we think of Tuesday, the 15th?
Mhm.
Joanne, we'll give you just enough time to
Yeah,
work off your jet lag
yeah,
and
no, the
unpack a couple of things.
15th would be good.
Good. Okay, maybe let's just take a look here. I'll have to run it by my end, but what about potentially the 22nd as well? Or as an alternate date? The following.
I'm going to be in California, but I could participate. Italy will be a little harder to participate, but California, I could do it on the 22nd.
Okay, so let's pencil in the 5th or the 22nd. I'll
Right.
double check with Jess and see where we're at on this end. And I can get back to you tomorrow.
15th or the
Go on mute
22nd?
just for
How do you find that people, if given morning 9 to 12 or afternoon 1 to 4, which do you think people would respond better to? Do you think the mornings are probably better?
I'll just jump in and say, I would prefer mornings, and I maybe people with other, small kids, just because
Yeah.
school gets done at 3, and it's hard, depending on my husband's schedule, to, find care for the kids. So that's my take on it, but I know everybody has varying schedules, so.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
find people, right off the bat, I find people get fatigued more easily these days, like 3 or 4, it's like, oh, but okay, so let's consider the morning. Let me get the dates right, on the 15th
Mhm.
or the morning of the 22nd
Yeah.
as possible dates.
Yeah.
Does that sound good? Okay. I'll circle back with Jess and just make sure that works, and we'll aim for that.
Yeah. And I mean, if it doesn't, if you have to do it like on the 16th, I can rearrange stuff a little bit. I just hate to, when I've been away for 2 weeks, to
Yeah.
do
Yeah,
that.
I think that'll probably work. Just let me
Okay.
just check with other people's schedules, make sure that works. So what I'll do, I'll check with Jess and see if which of those 2 work best. I will send you suggested invitation language that all you need to do is, add a signature, put in the right dates, who the contact person would be for RSVPs. And then there's one other element I just wanted to mention that we found really works well or really helps with the end product and get people prepped for the actual workshop. I'll include a link to a pre-workshop survey for participants. It's no more than a 5 to 10 minute survey, but I'll include that link in the suggested invitation language. And
Great.
it would be great if people would it serves a couple purposes. One is it provides us with another avenue to get more information from folks, but it also gets them prepared for the workshop. We ask a lot of the same questions in the survey that we ask in the workshop, so they'll come prepared. Like, what are the top strengths in Kent? And they'll have already pre-thought that, so we can cover more ground more quickly in the workshop. So, but that's pretty much it. I will send you a draft workshop agenda for participants. Sometimes people like to have that for sure. And when we get closer to that date, I'll ask for I find it really makes a lot of sense to have a quick 30-minute check-in call a week before the actual workshop, just to cover any nuts and bolts stuff and make sure everybody's clear and confident in what we're about to engage in. So clarity and confidence those are great words. So we're striving to make sure that's the case. So let me recap quickly. So keep working on that community characterization survey, share it with your emerging management professionals. Keep plugging away at this participant worksheet, and I'd love to take a quick peek at it when you feel like you're there. Tomorrow I'll check in with Jess on those possible dates of either the 15th or the 22nd of March in the morning. I'll send you the suggested invitation language with a link to the survey. And then once we have a date, I'll look to schedule a check-in call a week before.
Do we want to plan that check-in call?
Yeah. Well,
now?
it'll depend on what date we pick.
Yeah.
Oh, true.
If we pick like the 8th, that'll be forever till the 22nd, but perfect for the
Right.
15th. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so yeah, so you let us know which is the final date, and then we'll
Yeah.
do.
Is there something magical about this time for you all? 3:30 on Thursdays? Is that?
We actually usually have them on 3:30 on Fridays.
Oh, okay.
But I'm hoping, planning to be heading to a long-awaited get-together with some extended family that I haven't seen in 2 years.
Excellent. Cool. Let's not mess with that. That sounds too important.
And of course, we're having a nor'easter this weekend. I knew as soon as I
You
said
gotta
it out
get out.
loud.
Before the storm.
Cool. I didn't
It's
mean to rush
usually
there.
Fridays at 3:30s,
Okay.
at 3:30 rather.
So thanks for having me. I feel like I rushed a little bit, but I'm sorry.
No
Yeah.
worries.
Back on the faith-based leaders, we have three churches in town? I'm not leaving anything out, right? Would you involve
Yeah.
all three pastors?
Do you have an interfaith council or anything like that? No, it's yeah. That's always tricky business. One thing I wanted to mention though, with that, the pre-workshop survey that I'll send a link to, if that is open to everybody taking it, whether they can attend the workshop, whether they're invited or not. So maybe it's inviting Pastor Worthington and then providing the other faith-based leaders with an opportunity to contribute to the survey.
Mhm.
So you've got that. You won't upset anybody. Everybody has a chance to contribute and be heard in the final report. It's just whether or not, well, that's always tricky business, so
As far as I know, they all work very well together.
yeah.
And they're all wonderful.
Yeah, they're in the business of caring.
Right.
So yeah, but the chances are one will be, oh yeah, Pastor Worthington, he's wonderful. He'll provide us, I'm glad he's going, and then you can offer them the opportunity to participate in the survey.
Eugene, isn't the pastor, I mean, I may be incorrect, isn't the pastor at the Congregational Church just a part-time job for him? He's not there.
You're a little muddled. I
Oh, is
couldn't
the
quite hear what you were
pastor-
saying.
Is the pastor at the Congregational Church, is he a full-time there or is he just part-time there?
I think he's full-time. I'm not sure. I know it's a part-time. I think it's a shared position at the Catholic Church.
Hey folks, I'm gonna have to drop off,
Oh,
but
thanks so
much
much.
for me, and please, if any questions come up, just let me know. I'm here for you.
Okay. Thank you, Adam.
Thanks.
Take care.
Thanks, Adam.
Thank you so much for coming and giving us a hand.
Absolutely. It was nice meeting you, Gene. Nice meeting you, Miranda.
Happy to.
Good seeing
Have a
everybody.
good weekend.
Soon. Yeah, bye-bye.
Bye.
Okay.
Joanne, do you want to send that
Yeah.
over and or send it around and then we can
Yeah.
seems like we have fleshed this out pretty well.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was gonna say some names. Parks and Rec is Jared. Don't know how to spell his last name.
Let me find that. Hang on one sec. Yeah, it's going to take me a minute to find that. I'll send it to you.
Okay. Yeah, I can look it up somewhere. POCD, I'm not sure who's on that anymore. We
Yeah,
could ask
so do we
Donna
think that
that.
we need both someone from planning and zoning and from the POCD subcommittee?
I don't think so. Like if we have Wes Wyrick, I mean, it would be good for someone who's on it, not just someone from planning and zoning, because they're actually writing the POCD. So if they were, if they're on the POCD, they're on planning and zoning. However, it's not the other way around. So it would just, we want to definitely have someone, it could be one person covering both, but we do want someone who's writing the POCD to be involved.
Okay.
Yeah, and then yeah, just some names that
Who's the tonic person? That's Mike Benjamin, right?
who's that? What did you say?
No, it's going to be, so I believe Lynn Werner is the director.
Of what? What are we talking about?
HVA.
Oh, okay.
Lynn Warner.
Yeah, let me, it's either Lynn Warner or, hang on. Yeah, so that would be the main person. There's a couple of people, Mike Yastrzemski and Lindsay Larson are the other two folks that I work with, but Lynn would be that person. And then NCLC would be Hiram Williams.
Oh, that was Hiram.
H-I.
How to spell Hiram.
It's close.
And who do you think for the land trust?
That would be Connie Manis. She's the executive director.
Well, she's getting invited through Conservation Commission too, because she's the chair. So, and then what about for the schools? Are we gonna send it to headmasters and then they can delegate if they want someone to come?
Yeah, and the chamber has a new president.
Oh, okay. Who is that?
It's David. Oh my gosh, I just called him today.
So it's just one person?
I believe so.
Okay. On the website, it said two.
Oh my goodness, David Schreiber. SCHREIBER.
Jean, does it make sense to invite the other selectmen?
Say that again.
Does it make sense to invite the other selectmen?
We should probably ask Adam what they've done in other towns. I don't know if we get into the sticky wicket of, is this now, does this have to be warned as a selectmen's meeting and it's not a board of selectmen meeting because of FOI? I don't know. And also I'm not sure. I'm gonna definitely defer to.
'Cause it also says state reps, and I thought, well, Maria's probably being invited to 10 of them, but I guess we could extend the invitation and she can say, I've already been.
Yeah, and also Craig Minor, they're both our representatives for this.
You know, Maria Horn, Joanne, she's our state rep,
Yeah.
and Craig Minor is our state senator.
And what's his name? Craig.
Craig. M-I-N-E-R. Yep.
What else? Oh, what about COG? Who would be the
Oh,
person?
COG would be Rob Phillips.
I guess Donna would know about POCD.
Oh, I
Who's on
think
there?
there's
Or is there a,
it's on the website. Hang on one sec.
yeah, I was gonna say, I think on the website, just planning and zoning. Does it say who's on POCD? I could look back at one of their meetings and just see who's there.
Who's is there somebody who is like the chair of the Board of Ed? Do you know, Jean?
Yep, that's Scott Trabucco. Scott with 2 T's. Trabucco.
All right.
So the idea is that the POCD and the zoning board person would be the same person. Right, Joanne?
Well, you could invite two, but it just, to me, it seems
Yeah.
important to
I'm
have,
just trying to get in my head, because your planning and zoning is writing the POCD, but not everybody on planning and zoning is writing the POCD, but some of them are, so.
right, it's a,
everybody
it's
can
a
do double duty
subcommittee.
there. Yeah.
It's a
And so the
subcommittee. The planning and zoning.
POCD subcommittee members are Mark Weingarten, who's the chair, and then Karen Casey and Adam Manis.
So maybe Mark and Wes Wyrick we could invite, because he's the chair of the subcommittee.
That would make sense.
And then if he doesn't want to, you can, I assume there's going to be some language in the invitation for
Yeah,
if
that's
they,
my assumption.
if they want to, you know, if they can't do it, they could have someone else do it for them.
For the
Right.
schools, they're gonna wanna do
I
that.
just put the spelling of Mark's name in the chat.
Okay, thanks. And right.
Oh, I wonder, so I'm seeing finance budget capital plan in the list for boards and commissions. I wonder if there should be either an invite should be either sent out to the Board of Finance Chair, Nancy O'Day Wyrick.
And I have to move this up. I just
Yep.
don't want to mess with it right
Placeholder, yeah.
Her name is Nancy Wyrick.
O'Day, yep. She has hyphenated, it's not hyphenated, but it's
It's
dual.
Wyrick O'Day.
Oh, O'Day Wyrick.
O'Day,
I will-
okay.
I'll get the spelling for you on that.
I assume she's with Wes Wyrick.
Yeah, it's capital O apostrophe capital D small EA. And on the website, it is hyphenated.
Oh,
So she's the chair.
Do you want to invite somebody from the library?
Yeah, I think so. They've been such a huge partner. So I believe they don't use that anymore, Joanne, the headmaster term. They just use head of school.
you're right.
That's a
Thank you.
Sure.
So library is going to be in this community planning, I think. Civic organizations, trust, yeah. Okay. L. And that would be Sarah, right? Marshall?
Yep.
Okay.
And then just going back down to the schools, the names.
Okay.
So Kent School is Michael. Spelling of his name. Last name is Hirschfeld, Hirschfeld.
Okay.
Wood is Blythe with an E. Everett, Everett. And South Kent School is Lawrence.
Lauren.
Yes, Smith.
Okay, that's easy.
And Kent Falls Brewery would be David Birnbaum.
Right.
Yep, you got it.
He's also on planning and zoning, right?
Mm-hmm.
So maybe he can do double duty there. Because it's getting a lot of people.
Yeah,
Yeah, I don't think everyone's gonna come. Let's see, how
No.
many people do we have? 1, 2, 3, 4. I assume reps, senators probably
Probably won't.
won't.
You never know.
You don't know, but still. 4, 5, 6, 7, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27. What do they say about weddings? Like 25% don't come? Is that it?
it is kind of amazing though, that just sitting here for, 7 or 8 minutes, how many amazing organizations we have.
Yeah, yeah.
And you'll
Cool.
think of
Tiny
10
town.
more, and then after we hang up. So,
I don't know. I know we kind of, did someone mention High Watch? I don't know if they will need to be specifically included or if they're covered under Chamber of Commerce or, I don't know.
What do you think?
Yeah, so there's something under large employers, right? Was there a list?
That's, well, this is
Category.
others, finance, administration.
Oh.
I think, right? There's no other.
he
Yeah, it
had
would be-
given us- Before, he had given us a list of, people that have come to these things in the past, and they talk about emergency management, engineering department, finance, fire, grants office. I don't think we have any such thing, do we? Social services and health, land use, legal affairs, neighborhood revitalization, planning and economic development, parks and rec, police. We don't, does that make sense, Jean, to have police or not to you?
I think from a resiliency standpoint, it does. So I think we're okay with not including High Watch. I must have seen that somewhere else. Because I think they would be represented through Chamber of Commerce.
Mhm.
But you want to send something to the state troop? I guess it's a state trooper that we have, right? Not.
Yeah.
Okay.
So did he say like, there's a minimum number, but is there a maximum number that it gets to be to?
I think last time he said like 24, because with Zoom, it just gets like I think they do breakout sessions and all, but I remember him saying like 24 was tops.
Should we have
So I
somebody-
wonder if it makes sense to like send out, the smaller invitation, and then if we need more people, then you send out a
Mhm.
second.
Yeah, we could have like the A and B.
You won't tell them that they're.
The A list, the B list. We could even have like a C list on here.
Well, I think we should just wrap up this list of who we truly think, and then
And then
send
have
it to
him-
Adam and
yeah, I
have
can-
Adam
him.
create sort of the final.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do we want to include policemen?
Oh yeah, so we should probably add in the
So state
list of
trooper.
state trooper.
What about, to me, it kind of isn't, I think it would make sense to have somebody from sewer.
Like
that
commission?
could
Yeah.
be Rick.
He could do.
Rick
He
is
could
also
double
on
up.
he's on the sewer commission,
Okay.
Okay.
and it doesn't say sewer specifically.
But you could put public works / sewer.
Mhm.
But on the list, he also had, let's see, public library, small and minority business resources, water pollution, zoning, water / power utility, our good friend Eversource. Oh my goodness.
We might want to, we should probably ask him if he thinks we should have someone like from First Light, because they manage the Bulls Bridge Dam area as a, fairly large natural resource.
First
I-
light. They're called, wait, who's first the state trooper? What's his name?
Andrew
Andrew
Fisher,
Fischer?
just SH.
Says it. Okay.
He also brought up like visiting nurse hospice type people. Do we have something like that that happens in the,
We have RVNA, it's called. So we could,
is that the people in New Milford? Yeah.
Yep.
Because given our elderly population, maybe that's not a crazy thing to have input from them.
yeah, and another option for neighborhood associations might be Kent Community Fund. I think they would probably be important.
Oh, yeah.
Kent Community what?
Fund.
Kent Community Fund.
Okay.
And that would be Ruth Epstein or Catherine Bacharach. I think Catherine Bacharach is the board chair.
So it should be her.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
think so.
And that's with a C. BACH. RACH. And do you want to put the VNA, Jean, as the brainstorming or not?
Sure.
It's the VNA in New Milford.
Yeah, so it's called RVNA, like the letter R.
Right. Where am I putting this under? Is this public safety?
No, I think
Like elder care, kind of.
Community?
what's the next one down? Community planning and others. So maybe others.
What does the R stand for? Do you know?
So it used to stand for Ridgefield VNA. I think when they all merged, Ridgefield sort of was the biggest partner, and so they kept it at that.
It's
Let me see if I can
RVNA.
find
New
something
England.
for you. Oh, you know what? I have a contact over there. Oh, dig that up somewhere.
Because I was just thinking about somebody from Newvance, given that we've lost our doctor's office and you've been trying to negotiate something with them for a while now. Does that make sense to try to include them or not? Or is that
Yeah,
just
they're
really,
like-
is that an outlier kind of thing for this project?
Yeah, the list is so big now. I think
Yeah.
it might be an outlier. But we did not put fire EMS on there at all.
They are there.
I did. I put fire.
Fire, is it
Oh,
fire?
Marshal?
Yeah, so he's the fire marshal. I
That
think
makes sense.
they're really looking for the response. So under that first column, it probably should be KVFD.
Who's the person?
The fire chief is Alan Gobble. ALAN and GAWEL.
Okay. So he's the fire chief.
Yes.
Okay. Public Works, Rick Osborne, Northwest Transit District. Did we
Yeah, I
want to keep
Can't
that?
remember. Yeah, because that's transportation.
Okay.
I think it's Craig Nelson.
Not Greg, but Craig. So do we maybe not want to do all the conservancy stuff and limit that? I feel like now we have to edit a little bit.
Well, let's see what Adam says, because he's done
Okay.
this so many times.
All right.
He may
Yeah, we can-
have some obvious and logical
Mm,
edits. I'll get you that name and I'll confirm Craig's name as well. But I'll do it in email, so I'm paying attention and not
okay.
searching on my email.
All right.
This is a really, really, really good start.
This is a good list just to have, Jean. I mean,
Yeah.
It's almost like a Rolodex,
Yeah.
of who to call for what.
Really is.
All right. I don't know
Oh, who is the Parks and Recs person there? Jared.
I have to get the spelling of his last name.
Kaczynski or something. How do I insert a column or a row, not a column? I can't figure this out.
I think you have to highlight the whole, an entire row. And then, oh, you're on a Mac, so there's no right click.
Yeah, I'm in a,
Is there insert up? Yeah.
yeah, that's what I was looking at. Insert, like it's just insert row right here after table. I'll figure it out.
I'm looking at the spelling of Jared's last name if you want to.
Oh, yeah.
great.
Great.
It is KUCZEN SKI and ZEN.
ZEN. Whoops.
Yep. There you go.
Kaczynski. All right, cool.
I think with a list like this, it's better to put too many and then pare it down,
Mm-hmm. And I think he'll also know yeah, like how many we should expect, because there is a formula for when you send out
Right.
invitations, whether it's like 15% are not able to come. So he should
Right.
probably know that.
Because the private schools will all be on spring break. But that doesn't mean people are gone. It might be actually a better opportunity for them because they can show up and not have to worry about teaching a class or
Right.
dealing with students or whatever they, you know, their
Yeah.
responsibilities. But
Right. And I can fill in, there's just, you know, there's some titles in there that we don't need to spend Zoom time.
Yeah,
Yeah,
well,
I can just-
yeah, that's what, I mean, I wasn't really sure about these
Mhm.
headings up here. I'm not sure if I did this right at all. I was just trying to fill it in. Because it's affiliation and then categories, positions. So. anyway. All right. So I guess, is that it?
so if Joanne, if you could get the list cleaned up and then forwarded it to Jean. And then Jean, you can
Flesh it out.
hash it out, and then maybe Jean, you could share it with Adam and say, you know, obviously this is excessively large. Where would you pare down?
Mhm.
And see what his suggestion is.
Sure.
Because I'm sure he'll have valuable input, like you've got too many of this and not enough of that, or
Mhm.
did you remember this, or, you know, that kind of thing. So, and as he pointed out, you know, some people might be thrilled to participate in the survey to get their thoughts in without necessarily participating in the actual event.
Mhm.
So. Right, so still feeling an anesthesia fog in some ways. Our next meeting would normally be, it's the last Friday. What have we been doing? I can't even remember now. Second Friday. The
of the
second
month.
Fridays of the month. So the next one would then be on February 11th. Does that work for people?
Yep.
Okay, at 3:30, and we'll do it by Zoom again.
It might not for me. That's the opening of the studio that evening.
that's
I'm
right.
not sure what time, though. We have to be there. I don't have that invitation yet, so I'm not exactly sure of the timing.
And I'll just say, I think that generally my son has a swim lesson that I have to take him to on Friday at 4:00. So
We want to do Thursday instead.
We could do
Does
that.
that work? We could do Thursday, February 10th at 3:30. Does that work?
that would
Or-
be fine.
I was gonna say, Miranda, would it help you not to do it at like 3:30?
It would, but I mean, like right now, my kids are just watching a show on TV. So like if I have to do that, if it's better for everybody else, it's not a huge deal, but.
Well, Jean, this was a good time of day for you, right? And isn't that how we came to the 3:30s?
Yeah, and it turns out Thursdays at 3:30 are quiet as well, without jinxing myself.
Why don't we say that our next meeting will be Thursday, the 10th at 3:30? And I want to, you know, because it sounds like this will be fairly buttoned up by then, because Jean, you'll have worked with the emergency people. It sounds like that was almost done. And so moving from this, I know we'd talked about this whole poet laureate stuff before. And you were going to try to get a resolution that would make sense to the selectmen, because I have a feeling that that someone's being forgotten out there. So
I'll put that back in the hopper.
yeah, because yeah, that got put on the back burner, and I think it needs to be put back on the front burner.
Okay.
And we'll go from there.
Alrighty.
Okay, everybody. I mean, does anybody have anything else they want to add?
Nope, and we just have to be careful that we don't add anything because it's a special meeting.
Yes, okay. All right, so we'll, Jean, if you could put the recording in the Dropbox
Dropbox.
thing. I kind of took minutes, so I'll draft something up and I will get that to Darlene. So, so anyway, so obviously feel free to email or whatever when you need to call. And Miranda, if you could just send us all out your contact information, that would be great. So we have it. And welcome to the group. This was not as
What about
lively.
to the email I sent around with contact information? Because I gave mine, but no one else sent theirs.
Oh, I don't know.
So can we start that
Okay.
over again where we share contact information?
Everybody
Sure.
send me their contact information. I'll put it together and I'll send it out.
Great. And so we just from a procedural standpoint, and we can't do it here because it was a special meeting. So you'll hopefully you can bear with us, Miranda, but that means this is just formality. We'll need to, at the next meeting, make sure that it's on the agenda to make the recommendation to appoint for the Board of Selectmen to appoint Miranda to the team. And then I'll bring that back to the next Board of Selectmen meeting after that February 11th meeting. And then we'll get you officially appointed. But by all means, come to meetings and participate.
Yep, sounds good.
Yeah,
All
this
right.
was an unusual meeting because we had the guest trying to get this paperwork done. That's the purpose of this meeting, was to get this paperwork done. So normally it's not like this. So,
Oh, no, no big deal. I will. And I probably need to catch myself up a little bit, kind of figure out what you guys are, where you're at. And I'm a little bit behind on it. Not behind, but just,
it's a lot to take in. The
Yeah.
Sustainable Connecticut has a website. And
Uh-huh.
when I started out with it, I just kind of surfed around on it for literally a few hours because there's so many different projects and areas of interest, and nobody has to be interested in everything. Kind of,
Mhm.
figure out the things that you're interested
Yeah.
in.
That's,
And
I was going to say that would be a good start. Just look at the sustainable CT and just see if like what interests you on
Yeah.
there.
And we did target for those 4 areas, which you can find in the minutes from probably 2 meetings ago, I think.
Okay.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Yep.
there's a
I'll
lot
take a
to
look at that.
consider.
Yeah, I'll take a look at the minutes on the website and catch myself up.
Great.
And Miranda, your kids go to Kent Center School?
They do, yeah.
All right. So I'm going to be tapping you for what I'm doing.
Okay, yeah, sure.
I had a feeling that you were going to say that, Joanne.
I know.
Actually, my son is not yet there, but my daughter goes there.
That's okay. That's okay. You have young kids in Kent, which I need to
Yeah.
talk to you about. So yeah, this is for my part of sustainable.
Okay.
It's all about the connections.
All right. All right. Thank you. Is that it?
I think so. Everybody stay warm. Be safe.
too.
Don't go out this weekend. Just watch the snowfall, however much snow that's going to be.
we dodge that. We may be able to dodge it, so that would be wonderful.
I want the snow. I'm ready to go skiing.
Oh,
I love the snow.
I do.
All right. I'm going to
All
end.
right, bye-bye.
All right. Bye.